Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James.
And I'm Ryan.
And in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Tim Ballard, the creator of the movie Sound of Freedom, and what's going on with him. We also have an update on Warwick Pimo for you. And we're also going to be talking about a Watchtower PID representative who went on the radio and went off script. And we also have some more for you. And let's get into it and roll that intro. All right, we're back for another exciting episode this week. Unfortunately, we don't have any special guests like we did last week, but that was a big topic that went down last week with Danny Masterson and all that. And again, a big thank you to Chris Shelton for coming on with us for that special show.
Yeah, that was awesome. We appreciate that. His insight was really helpful.
Yes, it was. And we also got some more to add to that story this week too, as I hear, huh?
Yeah, so Danny Masterson's wife has now filed for divorce, which I have a lot to say about that on the reasons why I think that she is filing for divorce. There's been a lot of speculation, number one, on how their marriage has been going down anyway. And there were some people saying that they think that she was being forced to stand beside him during the trial and that she really didn't want to be. That's what some people are saying. And then others are saying that the reason that she's filing divorce is only because she wants to protect their assets and not necessarily because she doesn't want to be married to him anymore. You know, she's just trying to be business savvy, smart, because Danny Masterson is likely going to face some civil lawsuits and they're going to be coming after his pocket. Which is the truth? Who's to say? But if Scientology has anything to do with any of it, anything is possible. There's a possibility that at some point Danny Masterson could even be considered a suppressive person because now he's making Scientology look bad. Like before, they're protecting him to protect Scientology, just like the Jehovah's Witnesses want to protect their name. But now that it's out there, do they want her to be divorced from him? Do they want him to be excommunicated or a suppressive person? Who's to say? Speculation, but I thought I would add that to it because it's just another layer of. Oh, and Ashton Kutcher, after writing letters of support, has now stepped down from Thorne. Not sure if anybody heard that news as well.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so
about
Ashton
time.
Kutcher, yeah, he stepped down, and you'd have to read his apology. Y'all can find it really easily, but I don't think it was genuine whatsoever. I think he's just realizing he messed up and he's ruined his life. I don't think he's sorry for what he did. I think he's sorry that people weren't appreciative that he wanted to stand up for a friend who is basically the antithesis of what Ashton supposedly stands for.
Go ahead.
No, it doesn't make sense. That does not make sense to write a letter to protect your friend when you have an organization that fights that kind of activity and is supposed to believe and trust in survivors. So which is it, Ashton? So yeah, he got what he got served. He got what was coming to him. Sorry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Water Baby, I'm a night shift worker too, so I made it
I
as
haven't
well.
even looked at the chat room. Oopsies.
So,
hey guys, sorry.
But yeah, that's just, it's just such a hypocritical thing for him to go and try to defend Danny being part of that organization and everything that did he find that organization too? Was he one of the founders of it?
Oh, what, of Thorne, Danny?
Yeah. No, Ashton.
Oh, yes. Ashton is, yeah. But if you look at all like the backers, it's just a lot of big money grubbing companies and they're using their spy software to do some of this stuff, and it doesn't sound it reminds me of Tim Ballard, and we'll get to that, but it's literally like, to me, the
Yeah.
same coin, the
Oh
same
yeah.
kind of operation happening here. Look over here what we're doing, while meanwhile you're the one who's doing all the bad stuff.
Oh yeah. And it happens so often with people, with religions, with organizations. They'll be preaching against certain things when they're the ones who are doing those certain things the most. And
Exactly.
so it's
It's
just
very
such,
counterintuitive.
yeah. And then when you get caught doing those things, oh, I'm sorry. It's just like, come on, you knew what you were doing
All
and you have
this,
no
all,
excuse.
yeah, it's a fake. It just seems like a fake and not genuine apology. And it doesn't mean that you can't realize you've done wrong. I've had to apologize, and it was because I actually realized I was being a POS. But I don't think that's the case. I don't. Part of the problem is that you don't have people in your corner who are getting real with you, who are telling you like it is. You just have a bunch of yes men. And that's what happens in cults. You get cult mind, yes men patting you on the back, and everything you do is golden.
Have you seen that? There's a movie on Netflix about the Boy Scouts of America. Have you seen that at all?
No, but people keep telling me I need to watch it. So I guess I need to get that watched.
And, and I've watched about half of it so far. And what's really disturbing is one of the parts I was watching on it is they had video training and training for the scout leaders to go through, and also to give to the kids to recognize the signs of abuse and things like that, right?
Right.
So what they did, and they put it out there like publicly that they did this thing, right? But what they didn't do was actually show it to the people who needed to see it, which was the scout leaders and the kids. They just made the damn thing and told the public, hey, we have this education stuff for our scout leaders and kids to recognize it, but they don't show it to them and actually
Right.
educate them on it.
It's not surprising, and it's typical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sad.
but
That's just, I'll have to take a look at it.
anyways, speaking about Tim Ballard, since we
Yeah.
already hit on that a little bit, and it
That dude,
he is such
shun,
a piece of work. Oh my God.
unshun, shun,
Yeah.
unshun.
It's so basically he's supposed to be doing like these missions to help fight sex trafficking and all this stuff, right? Looks like this really like upstanding, dude. But he had to exit from this Operation Underground Railroad earlier this year because he has had claims of sexual misconduct involving at least 7 women.
At least.
At
That's
least
who
7
came
women.
forward. That's who was brave
Yes.
enough to come forward.
And these women were the ones who were working closest with him for his whatever he's doing, right? That's not to say there's not contractors and other women that came in, via his work that he
Right.
also had something to do with as well. These are just the ones that came forward.
Exactly.
And this is the guy that made that movie called oh my gosh,
he's had a
The
couple.
Sound of Freedom.
But he's had like I think a couple movies that he's worked on. But Sound of Freedom is the big one that, yeah.
Right. And that movie's supposed to be about how he's rescued all these kids from child sex trafficking and this and that. But to get back to the point though, again, another guy who's out there preaching against these things has his other hand deeply into it.
Yep.
No pun intended there.
No,
but
it's the exploitation. It's the
yes.
setting up of of an organization to look like you're a good person, and then meanwhile you're the one who gets caught at least exploiting 7 women, at
Yes.
least. Now, that's not even talking about the children and supposedly what he's done. Supposedly they go into these places and these other countries and they ask for the youngest kids they have, therefore causing a demand for young kids. They're not helping, they're not protecting, they're not saving, they're actually causing a demand for young children. And that is the
Mhm.
kind of stuff that these groups of saviors are doing. Like if you want to help kids who are being trafficked, I think we have a country here that like is hurting kids. I think we
Mhm.
have cults who are hurting kids.
Yes.
Here's a suggestion. How about we just stay right here and help the kids here?
Yeah.
That's a novel idea.
Yeah. You know, the whole stay in your whole own lane, stay in your own country, you know?
Really? And that's I'm not saying you can't go to other countries and help. That's like really a shitty thing to even say.
Right.
But you're what the perception is what they're trying to make people think is that's where the bad stuff happens in these other countries. It's not
Yes.
true. It's happening here. This is
Yes.
where children are being trafficked. So stop.
And
Stop
I
going to
mean,
other countries and demanding the youngest kids you got. That's so creepy. Oh my
I
God, I'm
mean,
so
just
disgusted.
going back to the Boy Scout documentary, they found over there was over 82,000 kids that were abused within the Boy Scouts organization, right?
Jesus
And because of the
Christmas.
way they had things set up, there was literally, I forget which state it was a southern state, where actually several men purposely went into the Boy Scouts because they knew their policies would enable them to get to the children
Hmm,
easily without being checked up on or anything. And they were able to get kids and abuse them any way
exactly.
they wanted to.
And you don't think they don't do that in the Jehovah's Witness organization? You don't think that word hasn't gotten out that in these cults, that is, you're in? All you have to do is pretend to be a good guy,
Yeah.
get some responsibility under your wing, and
It's,
all of a sudden everything drips off of you. Nothing touches you. You're untouchable.
and also speaking about Tim Ballard again and his position as a person, right? You and the people that he assaulted and everything, you got to think of the imbalance of power there is with that as well.
Mm,
Because he's this figurehead of this company organization, right? So he has this authoritarian power over anybody who's working for him automatically, whether
yeah.
he really meant to use it that way or not, which obviously he did because of what he did. But there, even if he didn't have any intentions of doing that, there's still that imbalance of power. Just like at work, you have a boss. There's an imbalance of power there. Your boss has that influence over you. Also, and I'm going to put it out there this way, you and I right now, we have an imbalance of power over the people who listen in and tune into the channel because our voices are on the air and we're speaking out to the internet. There's just that imbalance of power.
Oh, you don't have to tell. Do you know how many people ask me not to make content on certain topics? Personally message me and ask me not to speak on topics because if I speak on something with 100 and something thousand followers on TikTok, I, I'm not, and that's not me going, oh, look at me, I'm so cool. But it means that like if I say
Right.
something, I could put something out there that could be harmful, that could be great, could be it's a toss up. And so I just try to respect people. But you're right, being here, having people listen to you, there's a sense of authority, there's a sense of um trust, respect. You see people in the comment section, oh, they must be pretty good people, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I get it, you're right, it's true.
You
So
know,
there's super it's super cringy to have a power dynamic and wield it against people. I
it
don't like
is.
that. I hate
You know,
that.
and we've seen it happen in the XJW community as well, where that power dynamic from YouTubers has been used to influence others to do things they may not necessarily want, and they've been outed and caught doing that. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm not going to name names. That's not what we're here to do. But we've all seen it. And those power imbalances lead to bad situations.
And you know what we didn't even mention? I'm sorry, that I think the biggest part here, the reason that Tim Ballard is being excommunicated or shunned, not because he has sexual allegations, my friends. It's not because he's a fraud and a liar, my friends. It's because the organization feels that he used a relationship improperly with one of the higher apostles. They think he used his name, and they don't like that. That's bad. So that is why he's being excommunicated. All the other stuff.
Because it's making their organization look bad.
But how about like denounce him because he's a creep?
But they don't give a shit about that.
They
They only
don't.
care about their public reputation. That's it.
It is it.
And speaking about public reputations, I'm going to segue in with that.
Uh-oh. Mr. I don't know what
Good
his
morning,
name is.
Fee. Yeah, what was his name?
I have it written down because I have it in the store. DeBono. Okay, yeah.
DeBoner.
Jinx.
Oh God.
Sorry, not sorry. He deserves
exactly.
it. He made a boner of himself on freaking radio and news, because now it's news.
You really went hard up on that joke.
Well, it won't take long. It's pretty short if you ask me. It's not that deep.
It's coming sooner than Jehovah's Day.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, boy. You got me on a roll with this one.
Good job. Good job.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen on this one here. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So this guy, DeBono, goes on this radio show, and he's interviewed by a Christian radio show. The guy who's interviewing him is a Christian show, okay? Has his own religion, and during the interview, he was asked if they could take phone calls. And he's like, no, I just want to stay on script. Literally saying the quiet part out loud. He wants to stay on script.
And he was sitting here like this. Like, if you watch the video, you can literally see him with his phone.
Yeah.
And the guy wasn't asking him the question. The guy wasn't asking him the questions I think you could tell he was frustrated because it was like, there's no freaking answers here that are going to help me with what's happening.
Well, to the radio host credit, he asked him some questions off script.
Thankfully.
But DeBoner here is like, well, I'll just have to send you some information on that afterwards. Now,
and he kept referring to jw.org.
He did. I will give him credit though, because in the article it did say that he actually did send the information that he promised to send. So at least he kept his word on that. I'm going to give him that. But to be that uptight, go on a live radio show, only want to stay on script, won't take callers' questions or anything, that is just so arrogant and just mind-boggling, trying to control the narrative. It's ridiculous. And try to tell me this is not a cult.
That's all he was authorized to do. These people, I guess, this is what I would love to find out. Like, once you're authorized to be a spokesperson, like to get onto a station like this, do they just send you, here's your answers?
Yeah.
It has to be pre-approved.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously it's going to, you have to know enough to be able to do as he did and kind of talk around it if somebody's asking you a question you're not comfortable with. But there must just be this list, and he just assumed that it was going to go off that list.
Yeah. And of course, the only thing he wanted to talk about was how, they're doing the cart ministry and we're still going to be knocking on your doors. And like, I love this question right here. He was asked, this is part of the approved questions. What have been the results?
I was dying. I was dying. I was like, you ain't got no results, bitch.
Exactly. How many people come and join a cult through the cart witnessing?
He like changed the goal when he answered the question. I can't remember exactly what he said.
Yeah,
but he, was
he
trying
really
to like,
did.
that's not what it's about. Something to that extent. I actually recorded myself blind reacting to it because I was watching Jake's channel and I caught the tail end. So I didn't see the video. So I was like, well, I haven't posted it because, I just haven't. But I was really going like, oh, this guy's
No,
asking him
you
some
know, no,
questions.
you know what he answered. I just remembered what he answered. He
Mm.
said that about the results question. He said that the goal was to let people come to them and speak to them rather than them approaching them like they do when they knock on doors. So it's like basically a less invasive way of talking to them, but nothing to really answer the question at all. Just
Right.
an evasive answer about it all. It's just like, come on, dude.
That's a cop out. Like, talk about a cop out. You're there in your mind thinking you're changing lives. You're not thinking one day they'll come. Yeah, of course they tell people that, yeah, maybe one day their heart will say, oh, what was that Jehovah's Witness talking about? But please, none of it works. Check your stats, friend.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your numbers. It doesn't help. It just helps you to stay culty, indoctrinated.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's just so cringy, just the way they do these interviews. And of course, we've been seeing who's that other information department guy we see all the time?
Robert Hendricks?
Robert Hendricks, how he goes on these, shows and gets all these softball questions and the softball answers just to make them all look, like this shiny, happy people, oh, look at us. We're so great. We're so wonderful. But they never, ever go on a show and take the hard questions, nor will you ever see them in a debate.
Mm-mm.
Because I'll tell you, 10 times out of 10, they will lose in a debate. They will not be able to answer any of the hardball questions, and they will just look like idiots. And that's why they won't do that. They only want their approved version of themselves being put out there. And that's it.
Yep. It's all about public perception and keeping Jehovah's name free from, I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're trying to fight the slew of stories that are out there right now about them on child sexual abuse, the lawsuits they got going against them, and all that looming over them.
Good luck.
Yeah, they're not going to shut
You have
this
a fight
down.
ahead of you, buddies. You got a long, hard fight
Big
coming
time.
against you. Yeah, I'm hoping that PA will really kind of put a little, just even monetary wise. Like, I just want to at least like knock one leg out from under them. That would be great.
And you know what, Jay? I wonder the same thing, but I also ask, if they're spending the money for these public and interviews and all that, they're taking away from the money that they could be paying out in lawsuits. Hence why they got to be begging for more money.
Yeah.
And having monthly contributions, and the congregation do that now, and getting into dangerous territory of what tithing really is all about.
Yeah.
But no, we don't tithe either.
That. Yeah.
It's just
nothing adds up.
No. It's just
Nothing.
all so convoluted. It's ridiculous.
It really is. It's a very weird dichotomy being a Jehovah's Witness, because up is down, down is up. You just nod your head and agree with what they tell you. And that's what works. That's what seems to work.
Being a bobblehead. Governing body is good. Governing body is great.
Love the governing booby. I have another story I want to share.
Go for it.
Okay, so have y'all heard about Ruby Frank? I don't know if you've heard this name before, but she is a Mormon as well, and she was someone who gave advice on YouTube. She had her own channel with this other woman, and they would give all this dude like some of the wackiest child advice. She would use her children as pawn, like to gain followers. And like some of her punishments was not feeding her children. She took away her son's bed and made him sleep on the floor for
Oh,
months
yes. I
at
did
a
hear about
time.
her.
She
Yeah.
she didn't give them Christmas presents for certain things, but yeah, a lot of times it was food. And so what happened is her one child sadly climbed out the window, ran to a neighbor's house, and was asking for food and water. And they noticed that the child had duct tape around their limbs and was like, had
Yeah.
scratches and stuff. I know. And this is a woman who's got millions of followers telling them how to be a good parent. So, yeah, crazy Mormon arrested, as well as her partner. I can't remember who her partner is, if they even show a picture of her, because she deserves to have her name out there too. Sorry, I'm not sure, but disgusting behavior. And, I wonder, okay, so will the Mormon church excommunicate her, someone who's a child abuser? Likely not.
Probably
Probably,
not. No.
probably not, sadly. No.
Yeah.
Oh, Jody Hildebrandt. That's her name. Jody Hildebrandt. So they run a counseling business, and they're also charging her with the abuse because they were living inside of Jody Hildebrandt's house, because the 8 passengers mom, Ruby Frank, and her husband were divorcing or separated. And so they were living together, running this counseling business and treating these kids like
That's right. It was
that.
8 passengers. Thank you, governing body language.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary stuff. But
Yes.
yeah, so that's how you treat your children. You starve them and put the fear of God into them. That's how you show your child you love them, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's just like the whole Duggar thing where they tell you to um, how to train your baby, and you know the other wrapping them in a blanket, weird stuff like that. I can't remember everything they did from the Shiny Happy People
Oh, yes.
documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it sounds very similar to that. Of course,
It
all these
reminds me
cults
of
sound similar.
it reminds me of Scientology's silent birth. And you can't like make a sound when you give birth. Like freaking you hate us. These
Yeah,
religions hate women. They hate us. Like, what did we do to you that you hate us so bad? You want us to suffer?
they hate
Like,
women and children.
they do. I mean, they hate everybody, really,
Yeah.
but boy, they certainly want to see us suffer.
Well, I got one more thing to share real quick, and this is just a brief story here. Blanket training. Yes, thank you, governing body language. Um, so in Florida, the city of Lake Worth Beach. Now, if you don't know where that's at, it's just a little bit north of Miami on that coast. And despite it being in a Satanist run state, this county there has officially become and shall forever be considered a safe place, a sanctuary, and a welcoming and supportive city for the LGBTQ individuals and their families to live there, which that is awesome in amongst a stream of bad stuff that we always hear from Florida.
Yeah, that's actually shocking considering to Satan down there. And that's,
Yes.
what, I don't even like when people call him to Satan, because Satan would never. Satan loves the
True.
LGBTQIA
He's very
2S
inclusive.
plus. Satan loves all. Okay. He's not exclusive.
I mean, Satan's all about the metal and the orgy, so he wants it all.
Right?
So
He knows
he's
how
a
to
cool dude.
party.
That's
Or
right.
she knows how to party. Hey.
Yeah,
They
it
know
knows
how to party. It knows how to party, and I want to party with it. That's all I'm saying.
Like it's 1999.
That's right. Exactly. Where's Prince? Prince is probably already there waiting for us.
That's right.
I can't even believe he
Yes,
was
I
a
know that,
JW.
Mom.
So
I know
weird.
that. My mom grew up down there.
Oh, awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I want to go to Florida so bad because I want to go visit some people, but I don't want to spend a penny down there. I honestly
Yeah.
don't want to spend a penny down there right now.
No, I hear you.
I mean, to each their own. I'm just saying myself, I could go, and I'm choosing not to because I'm hoping that dude falls off a cliff.
Well, let me put it this way, okay? I lived in Florida for about 30 years, okay? There are no cliffs. However,
There's
there
long
there
beaches.
there's sinkholes and there's
Okay.
hurricanes.
Drive into a sinkhole and then let a hurricane just like bring all the water into the sinkhole.
Thank you. See? That's all we got to do.
There we go. That
So,
works.
problem solved.
Problem solved. Absolutely. Good morning. You know,
Alright.
we're here a half hour. I do have other stories, but it's we're already a half hour in. So
Well,
I'm
if you
good.
want to bring it up real quick, you can. That's fine.
I mean, I guess I could just make it quick. I've talked about this guy before. His name is Daniel Cameron. Daniel Cameron. So he is the governor of Kentucky. And he filled out this survey. I guess there's ways that they try to find out like what these candidates think, believe, support, etc. He filled out a survey that said he would be willing to make it illegal to have birth control, to sell birth control in the state of Kentucky.
Oh, jeez.
What is happening?
Jesus.
I'm
You already don't want to have abortions, and now you want to ban birth control.
right.
Like,
This is why I say they hate us. They want us to die. Like you are forced, and they have the second highest maternal mortality rate in Kentucky. So their OBGYNs are leaving because they're afraid of what may happen to them, losing their licensure, etc., certificates, all that stuff. If they help their patient who may need some kind of DNC, abortion, whatever. And now you're going to just force even more people into that position because if they couldn't get birth control,
well, I tell you what, for all these guys that want to go out and control women's bodies, I say we should force castrations on all of you motherfuckers because this is absolute bullshit.
Hey, listen, if y'all love your circumcision so much, I'm not saying anything regards circumcision, but if you love your circumcision so much, why don't you just perform a vasectomy and do the circumcision, the vasectomy, bing, bang, boom. And then when the child, if they ever want to have a child, that person, they just get a reversal, a little tiny little swoop, paid for by insurance, problem solved. Problem solved.
And speaking as a guy that has had a vasectomy, they're relatively easy to go through. You can go to work the next day. You're not out for God knows how much time if like a woman who has to when she gets a hysterectomy or anything.
Oh God, right.
And
It's
like
not an organ being pulled out your body.
and like you said, they're reversible. Hysterectomies aren't reversible. So
right.
you know,
I mean, there are ways you can, I believe you can get your tubes tied to make them reversible, but it's still more like you still got to go in there laparoscopically. So it is an entire procedure.
Yeah.
And that ish hurts when they do it laparoscopically because they're filling your body with all of that. It's not air, CO2. That might not be it. I might be saying the wrong one. Anyway, that hurts. Let me just say, speaking from experience, those kind of procedures do hurt, laparoscopic procedures. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening in Kentucky. They love us down there. Down south is loving us.
Kentucky.
Fuck me. Fuck me is what it is.
Fuck me.
They can fuck me. It's what they're trying to do. Yeah, tubal ligation, exactly.
Yes. All right. Was that all you had for today?
I think that's yeah, I think that's plenty. I had like yep, that's it.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Nope, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. All the links for our stories are in the description below. So if you missed anything or want to go check out the articles that we talked about, go check out the description and they'll be there. Also, please, everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share and hit the little notification bell so you know when we're on. Of course, we're on every week at 8 a.m. unless we change it like we did last week. So keep those notifications on so you get notified
So
if we
you
have to
know,
change it for whatever reason.
we're tricky little minks.
Well, to Chris's credit, you know, he is from Colorado. It would have been 6 a.m. in the morning for him to come on the show. So,
Yeah, I don't blame him.
and
No,
I
thank
know
you.
our friend Fee is on watching right now, but there's a difference between watching a show and being on a show at 6 a.m. in the morning. So
Fee's
I
always
get that. Yes,
up
she is
early on that grind.
getting ready to go to work. But anyways, thank you everybody for joining us this week. We will see you all next week on Apostate Weekly, and apostate your way, everybody, and have a great week.
Love you. Listen to Baby Blessed. Bye.
Bye.